identify that. Yeah. So if I run, you see, hello world is printed here. This is basically what we do. It's just like this. It's just super easy. Yeah. Now, after running, a new cell is created by default. I can just decide maybe what type of cell it is. Yeah, maybe it's a markdown. In case you select heading, they will just tell you Jupyter no longer uses this. Use a special heading cells instead write headings in markdown cells using the hashtag characters. Yeah, like I told you before. So they'll just change it to a markdown by default. Yeah. In case I want this to be of font size maybe under #4. Yeah, that's what I do. I just press F4 and then the 4 hashes will appear. Maybe if I come back and I select my cell, after selecting it, it becomes blue here. If I come here to type, it becomes green. Yeah, so that's when you can differentiate whether this is selected or not. So if I select it, it becomes blue. And if I press maybe 5, you see these are 5 hashes. If I press 6, they get to some other. This is some, and this is some other font. Yeah. Yeah, and then here, and maybe text and text. Yeah, so there are some other softwares that you can use, like the Jupyter Notebook. But this is some of the benefits of this. It works online. I mean offline. You can use it offline in case at any time you're not connected to internet. You can just use this. Yes, you can just use this in case you're not connected to internet. Yeah. So here, yeah, like we saw, that was it. For you can test this, you can import a number of libraries, you can do it like in this file of mine. So here I started working on this diabetes prediction file. Like I told you before, I'll be using this data set here. So here we start by importing the necessary libraries in Python. You see, this is a cell of its own. This is also some other cell. Yeah, this is some other cell. In case I run it, you see, no error occurs, meaning our data is okay right now. So one of the basic Python libraries that we are able to encounter in this while working with machine learning and AI, it will be like NumPy. We shall use pandas. We shall use this matplotlib. Matplotlib is just going to help us to plot the correlation, the different visualizations of our data. So like here, this plotlib. Okay, before we go any further, let me just here I just imported this panda because it's one of the necessary Python libraries that we're supposed to use here. Yeah. Then entering and inputting our data set. In this case, my data set is already on the desktop, like I showed you. Yeah. My data set is already on the desktop here. Where it's here. It's already on the desktop. So in this case, I hadn't yet uploaded it, but now it's uploaded. I can access it anywhere. Yeah. So this data set, I just say, remember we entered pandas as PD. So here I will just say pd.read _s _ CSV. So in the brackets, in this function, I'll just specify the path to my data set. Yeah. So if I run this, you see, we have here the output. By default, it will just print. Since we are reading, it will just print a copy of our data, and it will tell you that maybe in this data we have this number of rows, which is 768 rows, and then 9 columns. These 9 columns, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9. Yeah, those are the number of columns, and then those are the number of rows. So as I scroll here down, you see, remember this data set of mine. So this here we are importing and initializing our data set. So I just equate. It's like assigning a variable data set, a Python variable data set, and I assign it to pd.read this data set of mine to what I'm reading. I assign it to what I'm reading. Yeah. So here, in case I want to print the type of the data set, you can see that this is a data frame. You know, we have series, we have series, we have data frames, we have a number of categories. So in this case, this is a data frame. Yeah. So in case I want to print the first 5 rows in our data set, this is what I use. So I just say the data set, the variable dot, because we want to access the head. The head is like accessing the first 5 rows in our data set. So the head, I just call the head function, and then I get this number of rows here. Like you can see, this is part of the beginning part of our database. So it's the same here from 0 to index 4. So this is just indexing. We are indexing starting from 0 to index 4. So those are the first 5 rows in our data set. So here we are in this cell here down. We're just trying to create relationship visualization. So as we shall see there further as we go, there are some steps that you're supposed to follow while working with machine learning and then AI. So one of the steps, obviously, just have there are a number of series that you have to follow, where you have the data collection, data specification, or where you specify the data you're going to use, then you explore the data. Then after that, you check whether that data you have it's the required one. Yeah. In case it's the required one, you can check. In case it's not, you can also get to know. Yeah. So here we're just trying to plot a correlation, and then we are visualizing. This is relationship visualizing. Here in this case, we're using a scatter graph, and the command to this scatter graph, this is the code. Yeah, you just say data set. This data set, the variable we call dot plot, and this plot, this plot function. It comes from the matplotlib library, which is in by default. Yeah. This data, this matplotlib library is just by default. By default, it has this plot function. So in the plot function, you're just supposed to specify So in this plotlib, you're just supposed to specify the kind of the graph that you want. We shall see now that we even went ahead and specified whether I want a histogram or a box plot or something like that. So in this case, in this cell, I'm specifying that I want a scatter. That's the diagram I want. I want a scatter diagram, a scatter graph. Then I specify what's going to appear on the x-axis and maybe what's going to appear on the y-axis. In this case, these strings here, these are one of the columns in our data set. Like you can see here, we have pregnancies, and then here we have levels of insulin, we have levels of glucose, we have a number of things. So in case if I run this, I can also use this thing, like you see, shows that run this cell. In case I run it, it will obviously take some time, and then this is data set, so we're getting some kind of error. The name, oh, so I have to run this. Remember, we're just doing this incrementally, so I just have to run that. After running that, I also run this. After running that, then in case I come back and run this, you shall see that this thing here is now working out. You have to initialize each and every cell you create, you have to run it in, so that it's recognized. Yeah, we are building on a particular cell. After this cell, we are building on this. After that, we are building on this. So even here, like you can see, we have this is just the distribution visualization, and this particularly we are just going to use a histogram. So in this case, that's why you see I'm using a histogram with my frequency on the horizontal axis, and then this on the x-axis. I'm printing a histogram using the glucose values, yeah, the glucose in the body. So in the future videos, we're going to see about this comparison visualization. It's also some other kind of visualization, how we can visualize our data. Like here you saw I used a scatter plots graph, and then here I'm using a histogram to visualize my data. So in the future videos, we shall see other visualization methods we can use to view our data. So basically here, we're just getting started with this Jupyter Notebook. In case you didn't have any ideas, I'm sure now you do have. Just here, you can change the name of the notebook. Here, you can change stuff. You can just go through all. This is automatically saved. You don't need to save. There is auto save in it already. So here you can view things, the toggle header, toggle back. You can insert. Like these are some of the shortcuts where you press A to insert a cell above, and then B to insert a cell below. So on the cell, you can just use Ctrl Enter to run a cell. Run cell and then select below. These are some of the short commands. So here we also have under the help, you can see we have a user interface tour. You can make a tour on this. Basically, it will just take you a quick tour, less than, you just have to click next, yeah. So in case you did get this, you can just try to use that. Hope I've been like I've tried to explain this the best way, yeah, in the simplest form. Yes, so thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing, and then yeah, like, share, consider subscribing, please. This will just help me be able to create more content, a lot more content, yeah. Please consider subscribing to my channel, and then share, like, comment. Yes, thank you for watching.